With the release season finally over, we can all enjoy playing our new favorite games and taking advantage of the ridiculous Steam sales. And although this month was light on new releases, this doesn't mean there wasn't spicy news from the world of gaming. Like pretty much every month, Activision Blizzard continues to face a bombard of crippling PR, so let's find out why. The company started this month by laying off at least a dozen Raven software quality assurance contractors, who were not only in good standing with the company and were not only promised promotions, but many of them had to relocate to do the job in the first place. To make matters worse, these people were employed to maintain COD Warzone, a title which generated $600 million last quarter alone. The most insane part of all is if you ask any regular Warzone player, they'll be the first to tell you that the game would very much benefit from additional quality assurance manpower, and in the context of everything else at the company, this doesn't exactly reflect well on Activision Blizzard's leadership. Speaking of which, another long-time employee has detailed their less than welcoming experience at the company. The employee in question detailed that after reporting an instance of a manager acting inappropriately, she was subsequently demoted and was cut out of a profit-sharing program. Unsurprisingly, employees at the company are currently tossing around the idea of unionizing, and while management have so far pushed back against the idea, it's hard to say where exactly the company will land. On a completely unrelated note, fans of Overwatch may be pleased to know that there was a secret event for content creators within the community, and as a surprise to absolutely fucking no one, Uncle Swag wasn't invited. The select few people who did attend were kept under NDA about what they saw. However, as nearly all of them were giddy from excitement over the announcement, we can probably start speculating. Assuming nothing was announced from the tiny window between us writing and editing this video, it's probably safe to assume that the team is still on track to launch Overwatch in some capacity by the start of 2022's Overwatch League in April. As the league is competitive, it's likely that the PvP portion of Overwatch 2 will almost certainly be dropping early in the year, with the PvE component getting added when it's finally ready. I made a video a few months ago on what I'd like to see from an Overwatch sequel, and I argued that a good live service game with consistent and engaging content does a whole lot more to convince a player base to join, when opposed to a big one-off push, and it's my hope that Blizzard has decided to adopt this development mentality. In any case, this is all wild speculation on my part, because if there's one thing for certain, Activision Blizzard seem to be really good at keeping secrets. After a long period of fan backlash, Respawn Entertainment have decided to delist the original Titanfall from all shop fronts and subscription services. The 2014 title has long been the target of hackers and DDoSers, which has made the game unplayable for as long as people can remember. This in turn has earned it infamously terrible Steam reviews, as Electronic Arts has essentially been selling a product that people literally couldn't play. In an announcement on Twitter, the developer said, quote, "Titanfall is part of our DNA at Respawn. It's a game that showcased the ambitions of the studio when it was first released more than 7 years ago, and it continues to be a beacon of innovation that we strive for in all of our games." Needless to say, the Titanfall community has been going through a lot this year, with DDoS lore now being deeper than the in-game universe itself. The developers all but confirming no plans for a sequel, and the entire fanbase collectively pretending that Titanfall 3 exists in a strange collective trauma-induced haze. As it currently stands, there have been recent efforts to create player-hosted Titanfall 2 servers, which aim to include modding support, and I suspect that the real future of Titanfall likely resides within the player base itself, as opposed to within the offices of Respawn. Fans of the Battlefield franchise, whether they've been playing as much as myself, or have tuned out entirely since the rocky launch of Battlefield 2042, now have a reason to be excited as I bring tidings of good news. The Battlefield franchise has a new boss, and I mean it when I say that it's probably the most qualified person in the entire world for the job. Vince Zampella, the man who co-created Medal of Honor, Allied Assault, co-created Call of Duty, co-created Titanfall, and co-created Apex Legends, has been given the reins of the franchise overall, meaning he's more or less able to steer the Battlefield ship wherever he sees fit. Zampella himself has become a legend in the shooter genre, and for good reason, overseeing some of the most revered shooter franchises at the height of their popularity and gaining a reputation for turning every project he touches into critically acclaimed gold. Mr. Zampella will be heading the Battlefield franchise, along with his existing managerial responsibilities, including overseeing the development of Apex Legends and the development of another title, which is rumored to be a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order. If I were a betting man, I'd be putting money on a free-to-play Battlefield title dropping sometime in the future, an idea which has been on the minds of a few key figures within the company in recent months. Unfortunately for players who dislike the concept of specialists within Battlefield, leaks from developers working on the franchise seem to indicate that the current structure is merely a stepping stone to a more extensive system for the next title, meaning the days of a faceless soldier Battlefield are likely over. The company has also confirmed that the Battlefield franchise intends to have a larger focus on storytelling, and several new studios have been formed for this brave new future that Mr. Zampella will be leading. Whether this future seems like an exciting change or too much of a departure from the core makeup of Battlefield, that's for each person to say for themselves. However, with Vince motherfucking Zampella getting control over multiple studios, one of the biggest shooter franchises on earth, and the enormous EA piggy bank, I have full confidence that Battlefield has a bright future ahead. In our next story, researchers from the nation of Swagistan have discovered that something nearly as attractive as being a gamer is having a nice cock, and our friends from Manscaped can make that holiday wish come true. With Manscaped's Performance Package Kit, you'll have everything you need to impress that special someone and give yourself enough confidence to finally start playing your collection of Steam games that you haven't even touched. The Crop Preserver will keep your special Santa sack fresher than the blood of your slain enemies. The Weed Whacker will keep those nose hairs more absent than my respect for 8th mains. And the Shears 2.0 will keep those nails cleaner than Wayne The Rock Johnson's forehead. The flagship of the pack is the Lawnmower 4.0, which is a waterproof trimmer, rumored to be as quiet as a mouse and more delicate than an even smaller mouse. You never know when your cock might be expecting company, but with Manscaped, you'll always be ready for a surprise doctor's appointment, a date with that special someone, or a change room scuffle with the homies. As always, checking out with the code on screen will get you 2 free gifts, 20% off, and free international shipping. Manscaped. Don't say Uncle Swag never did anything for your penis. Meanwhile, Tencent acquires Turtle Rock Studios, Ubisoft announces a Splinter Cell remake, and Henry Cavill, patron saint of Chad nerds everywhere, wants to be in all the video game related TV shows. Roblox is back on the chopping block this month, after a popular YouTube channel by the name of People Make Games released a video highlighting the dark side of the incredibly popular children's game. As discussed in previous months, Roblox isn't just a game, but rather a development platform for creating games, which is why its initial IPO, earlier this year, valued the company at an absolutely insane $45 billion. We've previously reported on less than ideal content moderation for Roblox in the past, including a few attempts to use the game for extremist recruitment. However, it seems as if some of the less flattering development methods have started to see the light of day. As reported by People Make Games, the need to create new and successful games within Roblox has led to unofficial child development teams, which usually exist on third-party platforms such as Discord. Roblox, by extension, currently has a child labor problem. How this happens is that minors will join development teams in the hope of becoming successful and earning themselves some money. However, as you can imagine, this leaves them ripe for exploitation. One young Roblox developer started crunching to finish a project faster, another was cut out entirely once their game was completed, and there was an instance of one 13-year-old developer who did actually make a decent amount of money, which they ended up spending entirely on in-game items. Roblox content creation is a hard gig at the best of times. Oftentimes the only developers who make money are the ones who pay Roblox to advertise on their behalf, and even if they get that far, the revenue share for developers is pitifully low and requires $1,000 to be made in game before you can even withdraw money in the first place. Many could argue that this kind of environment would be exploitative, no matter which way you slice it, but when children are involved, it's really not a good look for Roblox. Peter Molyneux, best known for creating the Fable series, has developed a new unreleased game called Legacy, and it's already raking in millions of dollars, with the secret ingredient being NFTs. For those who might have forgotten, NFT, short for non-fungible token, is a unique and non-interchangeable unit of data, which basically acts as a record of ownership for whatever it represents. The reason why this is relevant is that to even get into Legacy in the first place, a player must first purchase a land NFT, which allows the player to open a blockchain business within the game. This means that essentially players will need to purchase digital land with real money in order to sell digital items, which also have a real-world monetary value. The in-game money is a legitimate cryptocurrency by the name of Legacy Coin, which operates on the Ethereum blockchain. And while the game isn't going to be released until sometime in 2022, land NFTs for the game have already been sold for ludicrous amounts of money. The sales of the digital plots of land have already generated $53 million in revenue, with the most expensive plot sold going for a mouth-watering $900,000. NFTs haven't yet caught on in the gaming space. However, it's quite likely that many developers will attempt to integrate them into their games after the current console generation finds its feet. Ubisoft recently announced plans to lean into NFT revenue streams for their own titles, with 3 NFTs being made available for Ghost Recon Wildlands, including one in particular, which required players to clock 600 hours in game in order to redeem. This proposal has seen pushback from players and developers alike, and it's yet to be seen how exactly NFTs will be able to enhance the experience for many players. It wouldn't be hard to imagine a world where players can trade in-game skins among each other or sell a lucky drop for a quick profit. However, when games like Counter-Strike have been doing this for years, it's hard to know what exactly this new and speculative technology has to offer. Meanwhile, Dr. Disrespect launches his own AAA game studio. GTA Online releases exclusive Dr. Dre tracks in its new Contracts DLC, and the creator of the original Nintendo passes away at age 78. For the very last gaming story of the year, it was only appropriate to cover the 2021 Video Game Awards, so let's start with the winners in the fastest way we know how. The most anticipated game went to Elden Ring. The best esports game was won by League of Legends. Best strategy game was awarded to Age of Empires 4. And best fighting game was given to Guilty Gear Strive. Moving on, best action adventure was won by Metroid Dread. Best RPG was given to Tales of Arise. Best VR game was snapped up by Resident Evil 4. And best mobile game was yoinked by Genshin Impact. Guardians of the Galaxy came away with Best Narrative. The ongoing Community Support Award was given to Final Fantasy XIV, and Best Game Direction and Art Direction was won by Deathloop. The second biggest winner of the night was Forza Horizon 5, coming away with Best Audio Design, the award for innovation and accessibility, and the Best Sports/Racing Game. Finally, the biggest winner of the year was It Takes Two, snatching up Best Family Game, Best Multiplayer Game, and the most prestigious of all, Game of the Year. Although a long list, Game Awards themselves actually made up a short portion of the show, with a ton of game announcements featured during the stream. This included Hellblade 2, a playable demo for The Matrix Awakens, a new narrative-focused Star Wars game by the same studio who made Detroit Become Human, and the official title reveal of Alan Wake 2. The show also revealed gameplay footage for the new Justice League game, a first look at the live-action Halo series, and Destiny 2's Witch Queen expansion, among a number of other announcements. In terms of new releases, December saw the release of Halo Infinite, Chorus, Solar Ash, and Loop Hero. January is set for another slow month of game launches, including Rainbow Six Extraction, Pokemon Legends Arceus on Switch, and God of War, and Monster Hunter Rise for PC. Viewers who are interested in news entirely unrelated to gaming can subscribe to watch our regular news coverage at the end of the month.